crisis is not always a crisis, but within a crisis there are opportunities. There's an opportunity to supply the European market. We're already supplying the American market. We've got a partnership with the USA Trade Hub that is targeted at SADC. Last year, on the 8th of December, the Eastern Cape hosted SADC Exporters Award, and the USA, again this year, has given to the Eastern Cape in Port Elizabeth the boardwalk to host the SADC Award for the second time, because they feel that there is more that they can import, the US can import from the Eastern Cape. And the SADC countries feel that South Africa's capacity to manufacture and process their input, their primary product, is so advanced that they would want to export their products, their primary product, to the Eastern Cape and get it processed for export to the USA. So the categories of the Exporters Awards for SADC that we're hosting include the Exporters of the Year Award, which is the best exporter from the from South Africa to the US. The Importer of the Year Award, which is the best importer in South Africa from the SADC countries. The Capital Provider of the Year, the best performing financing institution that finance exporting companies to export to the US, and the best trade and investment service provider of the year. So those are 4 categories, last year and this year. And we are fortunate that they are, for the second time, the first one and the second one are held in the Eastern Cape. They are providing more opportunities for us, for the market. And they're always asking, do we have enough adequate roads, ports to import these products? And that we have to get the produce from the field to the warehouses. Do we have suitable roads? I think those are the issues that we should be dealing with. But the financing instrument, such as the blended funding from the IDC, the risk capital funding from the ECDC, the IFC. IFC has got the biggest menu of the funding instrument. And they've got even the biggest balance sheet at very competitive rates in terms of interest charged on their funding. And they are here for us. Anyone who wants to get into contact with them, we are still, we organize meeting on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, get them onto an online meeting with the IFC. So thank you very much.
Enkosi Khatem. Phansi ayawagqiba. Chairperson of the session, ilethu ixesha liphelile. Ndiphakama because ndiyamva uRhadebe uba sekengena kwi-agribusiness. One would have hoped that we could have had more time to have deliberations amongst the panel. But ndicela ukwenza esi siphakamiso. We're not having an investment and development summit just as an event. And this is my hope. And my hope, Chairperson, is involved on the issue that on the things this is phakamiseleyo up, and I hope the Secretariat is noting all of them, because we equally now have the responsibility to form part of the core that is going to make these things and bring them to realization. So UMM no Mr. Shasha basixelele what they are doing in this district from east to west in all the different local municipalities in terms of what economic infrastructure investment that the district is engaging on. We have had the opportunity to speak there and there about the road infrastructure. We have not deliberated about rail infrastructure in the district. And we can't talk agriculture and this particular part of the province, which is landlocked, without talking about rail infrastructure and how we plan on taking all of the produce that's going to come here out to the ports and out to market in other areas. And I know that we're still going to have an opportunity, Khatebe, to talk more about how do we participate in the African trade market, because that is our market. We can't just be a food basket for the country. But equally, for us to be able to do that, then there has to be very clear investment in economic infrastructure. On energy infrastructure, I think we have made very high level suggestions about that being the area of great opportunity at this stage. Around renewable energy, around, we haven't even spoken about what we can do with this coal belt that you referred to earlier in the session. I know that the district and the province had invested in road infrastructure going towards the mining area, and we need to revive all of that. So mine, as I step down, I'm trusting and I'm hoping that the other panels will deal with more the digital and technology infrastructure, and that we will then be able to bring all of those things to bear. In terms of the corridors, we've spoken about all the corridors. And I know that there could have been an expectation that Sitete even more about the Kalata corridor, especially on Sugar Beet, the biofuels project that is that side. The timing for that project is now. And government had gone and invested quite a lot in the farms and in all other areas. We just need to sort out the policy issues that are emanating from that. So I do believe, Chairperson of the session, that the panels we need to just make space for the next panel, and then as Isphakamiso understands, so Dolob lo bhele lo ngogwalapha akazuba guest xa ibuya apha, makaze nalamali ye-industrial park azokwenza ezanto wayethetha ngazo apho ngokwayengu-CEO. Uba nami nefuna uniqangisa ndinganiqangisa, kodwa soze mna ndizibeke ityala, ndim ophethe imike ngoku. So lo bhele makaze neento funeka aze nazo apha zodolophu. And hence mine is to say, let's make this practical. Let's come back to the district without there being an event, and let's say with the investment in economic infrastructure that we have today, what is it that we can do? So that we can then talk about the other big things we don't have. At some point, I'm sure Madlelo is going to speak. We've been working with them and the good work that they're doing in the irrigation schemes, more specifically in Ngocha. I know that as they are sitting there, they are sitting with $1 billion rand proposal investment in Ngocha to fix the faro irrigation scheme that acting CEO ebethetha ngayo apha. That project needs to be owned by the district because izakwenzeka apha. Them as an investor that is there, they have the capacity and the capability to replicate what they are doing in other schemes. Kukhona ezi schemes la Shiloh. They are also working in that scheme. They can replicate what they are doing in Ngocha there, and we can see more of the production capability. Okwethu kuqiniseka indlela ikhona, umbane ukhona, amanzi akhona, the investors will come. Enkosi kakhulu Sodolophu. Thank you, Chairperson. Please do give a hand to the panel members, but before they stand up, we are bell. Enkosi Sihlalo. Kuthiwa asinawuthetha sodwa. Kuthiwa nani niyafuna uthetha. Ehlahlala phansi phela. Ndizawukhangela izandla. Manikhangele nje izandla. Ningabakrweca ecaleni bebeze formally. Ningabatsali ngebhatyi xa bephuma ngomnyango. Nibabuze izinto bebezithetha apha. We just want to open just 5 minutes for a question and answer session. If there's something specific that you've heard here, that you want to have a question on it, please, this is your opportunity. I'm not going to take a lot of hands, but because of time constraints that we have, but we don't want to, today, we don't want to behave like government, just today. Sifuna sodwa. Sifuna nani nithethe nathi. Can I take just a few hands? Are there any hands? Going once, going twice. Enkosi kakhulu sihlalo. Ndicela niyiqhwabele le panel. Iyakwazi ukucacisa le panel. Enkosi kakhulu ngokucacela. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. Ndiyayazi ukhona apha abantu abanemibuzo qha boyikukhumsha. Idaki zakuthi ungafuna uthetha isingesi ndiyazazi. Ninihlabezelela imibuzo ndizanibuzela ngokuhamba. So dolophu kukho abantu lapha endiwabona enxibe kakuhle namhlanje ekuseni. Xa ndithi ndiphume emnyango kuthiwa nazi investors. Zange ndava kuthiwa ba-investor. Banxibe kakuhle banxibe isuti bathi bazo-investor. Thank you very much, colleagues. We are now proceeding. We're set to hear the next 2 to 3 panels, but we've taken a decision that, given the magnitude of time that we have spent both here in the pack house and at dinner time, at the lunch time, we are now going to take only one panel, and the rest of the panels, we shall complete them tomorrow. And I think the panel responsible for agriculture, Mr. Ala, where are you? Yes, may I just get instruction as to which panel is ready, so that we can call the members of that panel to come to the stage. So I've also observed that Mr. Clark and Usizimveli baman bephuma bolungisana ikhola. Uphume nje apha ngaphandle. Usizimveli afika alungisa ikhola baphinde babuye. Yes. All right. Is Mr. Clark part of it? Okay. Okay. I thought you thought Mr. Mveli is this side. Mr. Clark, you can ascend the stage. You're welcome. All right. This panel is convened by Mr. Koboka, the CEO of Jogeta, and your panel members. Yabala madoda asukhumsha sabambela ngodonga. Ezingakwazi ukukhumsha ndiyazisizela. Bona nibane sizi ndiyathanda banosizi. Ufane zichepa kwasasikhula amadiba sasithanda ulinganisa impahla kasithengelwe impahla. Ndisizele ezinilinganisa ndithi ndiyazi impahla ziyanifanela mina. Andazi nakwenza njani. Kodwa ndisizele ezingakwazi ukukhumsha. Bezi-intimidate ngoMr. Mhlabe bengangeni kakhulu noMr. Koboka sawuye deep ngo. So kwafuna ukubambelele ngodonga. Yeah. Are you ready with you? All right, over to you. Let's give them a round of applause. They will be presenting the agro and agro processing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman. It's not evening, but it's pre-evening. We definitely going to rush this session. Before we do that, let me observe the protocol. Sotolopu and the chairman of the board, the other mayors that are in the house, the chairman of various boards that I've seen from the state entities, the previous protocol that has been observed, let me rise on it as gloriously as it has been honored. We're going to move straight now to the agriculture and agro-processing session. And I will therefore call the people that are in the program to ascend to the stage. I see agripreneur Mr. Kuvile, I'm starting from below, Mr. Matutu, Vian Smith, Mr. Raymond, Mr. Somjala, and Mr. Skenjana. And then
we do not have Mr. Slobo because Mr. Skenjan, Mr. Somtyala will deal with that area that Wandile would have dealt with. Then we have a Professor Chita that's joining us through a virtual platform. We're going to start with that one immediately, technical team, and we're not going to waste time. But while the technical team is busy with that, I think it is important to deal with the elephant in the room and state it as it is. If we were to talk land, the minerals in South Africa, we have done very well in managing them insofar as the managing of the land under which they are being extracted from. And that is a land issue. And we are successful. We are successful because the legislative framework that governs that is conducive for investment, and the financial infrastructure responds well to it. But we need to then ask the same question insofar as agriculture is concerned. Why are we not knitting or unable to knit together the land, particularly the communal land, such that the investment that can go into that communal land can be commercialized and pivoted at a level that is going to alleviate the poverty that we're living in, the unemployment that we have, and the inequality. Otherwise, if we do not do that, the land question, and fortunately, insofar as the investment is concerned, land does not have to be transferred to be commercialized. Now we need to deal with that issue. And the pre-packaging, the risk capital from the ECDC must make that funding of packaging such institutional arrangements available so that our lands that are in communal areas can be able to be unlocked for dairy, and all other value chain downstream that we can be able to extract value out of it. But without wasting time on this matter, I just want to check that with the technical team whether you are ready or not, so that the professor can be connected. And okay, over to you, technical team. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Can somebody tell me if I'm audible? If not, I'm going to assume that everyone can hear me. So good afternoon, everyone in the room. Good afternoon, all the leaders in your various portfolios, and may all protocol be observed. My name is Joyce Chicha, a professor from UKZN in food security, but today I'm here on Vuna Seeds. Vuna Seeds is a seed company that is 8 years old and is expanding its operations into the Eastern Cape. I've been given 10 minutes and I'm going to do my best to share with you our vision and what we've been doing and our intentions of expansion into the Eastern Cape. Technical, I think I'm stuck on, okay, no longer stuck. So Vuna Seeds is a company that is 8 years old. Our focus is producing seed, processing seed, and supplying seed to various markets. we intend to provide food and nutrition security to everyone, and we believe that that starts with seed security. I'm sure many of you who've grown up in rural areas were quite well aware of the saying that imbewu ayidliwa, you always keep the seed. But a lot has changed in our rural areas where seed is a concern, particularly for smallholder farmers. We are a Black and a female-owned and female-led seed production company based in KwaZulu-Natal, in Harwich, Pietermaritzburg. Our aims are to strengthen the local seed systems because we realize that for the past decade, the local seed systems that were used in the past haven't had the opportunity to be strengthened, to be supported, so that low-income farmers and those that are wanting to break into the commercial sector have more variety and access to affordable seed. Focus on the food security crops, what we call the food security crops, the staples being maize, beans, and a variety of vegetable seed. So we mainly service the rural, small, and emerging farmers. This is our focus, to see the small farmer who has the ambition to be commercial, be supported throughout the journey of getting there. We aim to improve the seed varieties and the germplasm that is among smallholder farmers, and to make it better to perform and to be resilient with regards to climate change. Our model has always been to identify Black farmers. I was quite encouraged to hear about the transformation in the land claims in the Eastern Cape. And we always wanted to see economic activity on these new entrants into the commercial space. So from the beginning, 8 years ago, we started with identifying these farmers in KwaZulu-Natal and started seed production with them. And sometimes we were pairing them with an established commercial farmer who knew how to produce